All right, so our first section here for solving two-step equations, our first problem is going to be negative 3x plus 5 equals 14. Now, what you're really going to want to make sure you do, and I want you to write this in your notes, you are going to always get rid of whatever is not attached to the x first. So that could be addition and subtraction. In most cases, it will be do addition and subtraction first or undo it. But sometimes we're going to see here in a case where you'll have to do multiplication or division first. So my first step is I'm going to split up the equal sign here so I can see both sides of my equation. So I have my left-hand side that says negative 3x plus 5, and my right-hand side is 14. Now I'm going to circle where my x is, and I'm going to circle what is attached to it. So the negative 3 is attached to it. So with that being attached, I'm not going to do anything to that negative 3 yet. But what I am going to have to get rid of is that positive 5. So instead of adding 5, the opposite is subtract 5. Now if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side. Then I'm just going to bring down everything that I have. So there is still a negative 3x there. I did not touch that negative 3x, so I'm going to bring that down on the same side of the equation. 5 minus 5 is 0, so that just cancels out. I do not have to write the 0. And then bring down the equal sign, and then here I'm going to just do my math. 14 minus 5 is 9. Now we are at a one-step equation, so that's going to be our goal. We're going to get multi-steps and two steps, and our end goal is always going to be to get it to a one-step equation, and it's nice and easy to solve. So again, here I have a negative 3 attached to my x, and it's multiplication. So the opposite of multiplying by negative 3 is dividing by negative 3. So you're going to divide both sides by negative 3, and then you get x equals negative 3 as your final answer. Our next one here, so I'm going to start by splitting my equation up so I can see my left-hand side and my right-hand side. So on the left-hand side, I have x divided by 5 minus 2 equals negative 10. So here's my x. What is attached to it is the 5 because it's x over 5. So I'm going to leave that part alone for this first step. I'm not going to touch that. What I need to get rid of now is the negative 2 or the minus 2. So the opposite of subtracting 2 is adding 2 to both sides. So on the left-hand side, again, I'm bringing down everything I still have. So x divided by 5 stays on this side. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0, so I don't need to write that. Bring down your equal sign, and then negative 10 plus 2 is negative 8. Now we're at a one-step equation again, which was our goal. Now the opposite of dividing by 5 is multiplying by 5. So I'm going to put a 5 on this side, and then a 5 on this side. So again, this is 5 over 1, so my 5's cancel out here, they just equal 1, so I'm just left with x, and negative 8 times 5 is negative 40. And then our last example here, we have the quantity x minus 5 divided by 10 equals 4. So again, here I'm going to circle my x, and x is attached to the minus 5, so I'm not going to do anything with that for my first step. This says divided by 10. The opposite of dividing by 10 is multiplying by 10, so I'm going to times 10 on the left-hand side, meaning I have to times 10 on my right-hand side. This is 10 over 1. 10 divided by 10 is 1, so that cancels out. On my left-hand side, I just have what I had in the circle, the x minus 5. Bring down your equal sign, and then 4 times 10 is 40. Then I'm at a one-step equation, so the opposite of subtracting 5, I'm going to add 5 to both sides, and you get x equals 45.